All right, everybody, how is it going? Let's do the oblong head pattern. It is more human-like. I'm going to throw up an image of my personal avatar in the form of a puppet. It's so adorable. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to make a head shape just like that. Again, this is more of people want to do replicas of themselves. This is the kind of pattern that they're looking for. So this is and it's also going to be a lot easier than the NPC head. So with that being said, there's a part A and a part B for the fabric pattern for the head. So let's just go ahead and start assembling this. Now, when you are printing out your patterns, always remember that you want to do it as you want to print actual size. Print the actual size. You don't want to scale it up, scale it down, or do something that you're not really supposed to. All right, so this is the only pattern that you're going to have to do any combining of, which is fine. And yeah, and then the rest is pretty easy. All right, so we are going to use masking tape to combine these together. So that black line between A and B, I want there to be a little bit of overlap, just a little bit of overlap, and then right here, this is perfect. I'm also going to take the other side. All right, so we're going to start with the fabric pattern first. It's going to be assembled almost identical to, almost exactly the same as the NPC pattern. It's just, like I said, there's just a few things that are a little bit different. So what sets this pattern apart from the NPC pattern is that it's got a larger mouth, a lot larger mouth. And of course, you have a much bigger head, so a lot larger hands can fit. And the neckline is a little bit more streamlined, I guess. This is a lot more simple because it's a very simple puppet pattern, but it's really, really awesome. And the mouth plate, again, it's much larger. So we're gonna just start with our fleece patterns really quick. So for the mouth, it's up to you. Some people like to do red. I like to do black and do a red or pink tongue. Or, you know, I have fabric markers, so I'll just draw it in and design my own tongue right there. And of course, for the neck and the head, it's going to be the color of this puppet here. So we're going to complete this guy. Okay, we're going to give him a head, and then the next series in the puppet, or the next videos in the puppet build series are going to be doing the face. We're going to do eyes, we're going to do nose, we're going to do ears, and they're going to be really short videos, bite-sized videos. So let's go ahead and get our fleece, okay? All right, so once again, okay, just move the patterns away, move this away. Got a bunch of crap all over me. Sorry, guys, I'm unorganized. Okay, so when laying down the fleece, there's two sides to the fleece. The fleece is literally the skin of the puppet. This is what the people see. Now, we're using anti-pill fleece. So usually for anti-pill fleece, there's two sides. There's the yucky, flat side. It doesn't have a lot of texture. And then there's the more nicer, fuzzy side. This is what I want people to see. So we are going to be marking our pattern on the yucky side. Now, the fleece has a stretch that goes in two directions. Okay, so it's going left to right here. But if I go up and down, almost no stretch, but left to right. So you want the stretch to go left to right. So when you're putting the skull of the puppet, which is the foam, into the fabric pattern, you're going to be able to stretch it out and get it to fit in nice. Okay, so we go ahead and lay out our fleece. Now, when we are marking up the fleece, okay, before we marking up the skin of the puppet, I like to use fabric markers that either match this or are very, very close to the color of the skin of the puppet, because if there's bleed through or there's it's broken or something or whatever, the pin bursts and it bleeds through this, it's probably not going to be that noticeable or won't be noticeable at all. For demonstration purposes, it's slightly darker than this, but again, it's going to be fine. So let's just go ahead and start with the fabric pattern. Okay, so this is our head, and I love to use a sewing machine, so I am going to give myself seam allowances all throughout. Okay, all throughout. And get my seam allowance guide out so we can do that after the fact. Alrighty, just so I don't have to sew so much, we're going to flip this over, and again what we want is continuity between these two lines, or between these two patterns, okay? All right, so this is ready to do the sides, and then we'll start with the neck now. All right, same philosophy. We want the stretch to go left to right for the neck. So get these all the way up here. All right, so this is going to be the front of the neck. So this is what the audience will see. This is going to be the back of the neck. This is where we're going to stitch. So we're going to need 2 of these, just like the NPC neck pattern. Now we want continuity, guys. Remember, continuity. So we're going to overlap a little bit with that blue center line. All right, this looks really good. All right, so how long do we want this to be? We want this to be about 11 inches long. We're going to add a seam allowance down here so we can seal the bottom of the neck. So it'll just be a lot more secure, okay? So we want about a little over ½ an inch. That seems good. All right, now we're only going to add seam allowances up here and over there. I'm going to mark this up. I'm going to put F for front. I'm going to use the other side. And over here, this is B for back. I'm going to put N for neck. All right. Let's finish up these seam allowances. All right, so let's go ahead and take this over to the sewing machine. All right, so we did the side of the head, which is right here. I already trimmed the fat, meaning I cut the seam allowance. So we're gonna do the exact same. We're gonna pretty much work exactly the same as the previous NPC head. So actually, I should shut up. I'm confusing that. This is what we're gonna do. All right, so we still need to put in the skull of the puppet. Okay, so we're gonna need a little bit of space. So we're probably gonna start sewing, how about like right up here, and then we're gonna go all the way up, and we're gonna stop right here, and then we're gonna continue to sew all starting right here, all the way down and stop right there. The reason why we're not going over here is because sometimes the machine gets all wonky trying to go through seams. So I like to just seal up little tiny holes or little tiny gaps like that with the ladder stitch. It's gonna be fine. So let's just go ahead and begin. So remember, we're not starting at the bottom of the head. We're starting up here. And like I said, we still need to get the skull in here. So that's why we're doing it this way. All right, so if you can imagine, this is the head, and this is the neck. Obviously, this is inside out. This is inside out, so this is the inside of the puppet. And I went ahead and pinned it for all the little, with the seam allowances for the neck. All right. Well, let's start with this side, I guess. No, we're gonna start with this side. All right, let's go ahead and trim the fat here, okay? All right, so now we got to seal the bottom before we sew the neck. We're gonna stop around right here. All right. So we're almost done here. So I have a needle here, and I have a knot on this end, and the mouth plate or the fabric mouth pattern, I already cut it out. I'm gonna have it be black. So yeah, so this is the top. It's almost identical to the actual plate that we're gonna be building in a second. So this is the top, this is the bottom, and then this is what it'll look like when all is said and done. So the very, very top, you're gonna line it up. Okay, do your best. We finished sewing around the mouth, doing that whip stitch around the mouth, the fabric mouth pattern to the head pattern, and it's coming out pretty good. So I got 2 pieces of cardboard. I already went and cut them out because, I mean, you guys know how to cut cardboard. But yeah, here's the bottom of the mouth plate, just right there. And I cut this out. And then here's the top one. I cut that out. These 2 pieces should be, you butt them together and they should be, you know, perfectly in sync. And this is essentially how the mouth, the fabric mouth is going to rest on the, how the fabric mouth is going to rest on the mouth plate, okay? All right, so if you want to add like something that you can grip, you can, but the way that this puppet is designed, the way that this hand is designed, you don't really need anything. But maybe in the future, if you guys want me to, I'll create a video on, you know, like a little something that you can grab onto or latch onto, maybe to help you manipulate the puppet. But the mouth is going to stay open, so all you need to do is this when you put your hand through the puppet. So we have these 2 pieces. Let's go ahead and get our pattern weights where they need to be. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. All right. Okay. Go ahead and put the bottom one right there. Put a top one. Right there. Yeah, what you can do is, if you wanted, you can get a piece of fabric, or not. You don't even need a piece of fabric. You would just need, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. So this is going to be the inside of our mouth, and when we are gripping it, it's going to be something like this, okay? So we're just gonna go ahead and use our foam once again. Use a block of it. I'm gonna go right here. Okay, there's our mouth plate. So, where do we go from here? Well, we need to make ourselves the foam head. Let's get to it. So using the foam pattern, I made two of these head patterns. You need 2 of them to make a complete puppet skull for the oblong pattern. And we're gonna go ahead and go to the garage and put some contact cement on the points that have a little glue icon. It's really simple. So just all throughout right here, not down here where the neck is, and of course between these little cracks. This is the mouth, so nothing goes here. And yeah, I'm gonna show you guys this in a second. Let's go. All right, guys, we are back in the workshop. So all we did was put contact cement around the, I guess, the bottom lip and the upper lip right here where the foam is, and also we put contact cement on the actual mouth plate itself where it will be making contact with the foam. So basically the opposite end of this right here where I'm pointing at. And yeah, now this is not going anywhere. Now this looks like an actual puppet. And we already completed, for the most part, this is pretty much done. Our our neck pattern, our head pattern, and here's our mouth pattern right here, the mouth plate. So everything is pretty much done. All that's really left to do is glue this on here, and then with our ladder stitch, we're going to close up this top right here, and then we're going to close up the back. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. So let's just go ahead. I'm going to put my hand back here as if I'm attempting to manipulate this. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to line up this seam with this right here, with these lines, with these attachment lines, these lines where the foam patterns meet. Okay, do your best. We'll shift this up and down in a minute. All right. All right, and it's following along. The seam is following along with the attachment lines right here, and again, this is very little effort. This isn't going to hurt the puppet whatsoever. Just be gentle, be patient with the process. You'll be okay. All right. So, well, that's pretty darn good. Wow, that was really good. It was really easy. What happens when you work with a much larger puppet. So the way that this is designed, you should have cute little smile lines. Cute little smile lines right here. And of course, I mean, we're not even like properly done yet, okay? I mean, we still gotta sew this up over here. And you generally, there you go, look, this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, great. This came out really good. Okay. I think I need to change the pressure on my presser foot, because I think it went a little too heavy right here. Not a big deal, because we're gonna put hair on this puppet, and these little corners here, if you're really worried about that, again, I think this is just the amount of pressure that I'm putting on the presser foot on my machine, but it's not that big of a deal, because again, the hair is going to be covering this up. But if this is something that's going to bother you, you can go ahead and sew this little line. Just do a whip stitch, because you'll have access to the inside, and you're not gonna have that there. Other than that, I mean, this is gonna radically transform in a moment, okay? But for the most part, this is pretty much done, okay? This is really good, and again, this is gonna look a lot better once we glue this in place, and once we sew this up, we can, you know, really tighten this up. But this came out really darn good. So all that's left to do, again, I'm gonna remove the fleece. Let me remove the skin of the puppet. And again, there's just to reiterate, there's a flat or yucky side of the fabric, and then there's the smooth, you know, very fuzzy, texturized. This is the skin of the puppet. This looks more like a Sesame Street character. All right, so this came out really, really good. I'm actually really, really happy with this. Okay, so go ahead, unwind that. So now you know what to do. Now you know what to do, how we're going to put this on. So we're going to be going to the garage once again. I know it's really annoying, but I mean, again, if you want to do this right, this is how you want to do it. So I'm going to reiterate. We are going to go ahead. We're going to be putting contact cement. You don't need that much. Less is more in this situation. We're going to put it all right here. We're going to put it all right here. Only on the mouth plate. Only on the mouth plate. Just a thin layer of it, and we're also going to put a thin layer of it as well, only on the black. Okay, only on the black, and then yeah, that's basically it. Only on the black. Again, the less the better. As a matter of fact, we're only going to put contact cement on the edges here, only on the edges. The wet fit, it'll just fall into place. Okay, so we're going to smear on a little bit of contact cement right where I'm pointing at. Only on the black, the end of the mouth plate right here. And then on this guy, we're just going to put, again, like a very thin coat. Just smear it evenly all around the mouth plate. And as soon as we immediately put our contact cement on the puppet, then we're going to go ahead and, you know, put this on there. And then when, once we put the skin of the puppet over the skull of the puppet, and we invert it and, you know, just press up against the mouth plate, and it's gonna look really, really good, and it's not gonna go anywhere. And then And then once we come back, all that's left to do, whip stitch the bottom over here. We're going to do a ladder stitch for the neck, and then the ladder stitch at the very top of the head of this puppet. And then this is it, guys. This is going to be done. All right, so we'll be right back in the workshop. All right, so it looks like it was done. Now it's now we just got to go ahead and do a ladder stitch all up and down here, and of course these necklines perfectly align, which is good. And then we're gonna go ahead and seal this this top portion up. This is good. This is real good. Okay, finish this thing. All right, so the oblong head pattern is completely done, and this is what it looks like. If you're bothered by these little horns on the side, again, this puppet is meant designed for hair, so this will be covered. But if you really want to avoid these, again, you can just go ahead and do the head, you know, stitch it by hand, do a whip stitch, since you'll have access to the inside. And yeah, but all of this is not going to be visible at all. Some puppeteers make their head pattern so that the hair literally, or the skin of the puppet is literally just like right here, and then they cover the rest with hair. So yeah, that's kind of the philosophy that I went with this design. So yeah, now all that's left to do, we're gonna put a nose on this guy, we're gonna do eyes on here, and of course we're gonna do a head to cover up the seams, cover up the little horns on the side, which again you can easily avoid just by doing this by hand. But of course I use the machine, and I need to recalibrate it because I just put a new bobbin in, and I gotta redo the pressure, the tension on the presser foot. I think it's a little too high, but other than that, this came out really good. Again, we closed up the seam back here. We just did a ladder stitch right here. We did a ladder stitch up here, and again, you're not going to see this anyways because we're going to put hair on this guy. And then of course, yeah, the bottom back here, just did a little whip stitch. And yeah, guys, this is done. This is done. This is awesome, and I can't wait to show you what this thing looks like in just a few videos from now. All right, thank you guys for hanging out and watching the tutorial on how to put this guy together. Peace out.